What if one of the greatest footballers in history decides to completely walk away from the biggest stage in world football? Cristiano Ronaldo, a name that defines legacy, goals, records, and global dominance, is now at the center of shocking rumors claiming he may refuse to play in the FIFA World Cup again. Fans across the world are confused, emotional, and divided. Is this the end of Ronaldo's World Cup journey, or is there a deeper hidden truth behind this controversial decision that no one is talking about? Cristiano Ronaldo has always been more than just a football player. He is a symbol of discipline, ambition, and greatness. From Manchester United to Real Madrid, Juventus to Al Nassr, his journey has been nothing short of legendary. But when it comes to the FIFA World Cup, the story has always been different. Despite his incredible success at club level, the World Cup trophy has remained out of reach. Now, shocking discussions online suggest that Ronaldo might refuse to participate in another World Cup campaign, especially as he approaches the final stage of his career. Everything started with social media debates and football analysts questioning whether Ronaldo would even continue international football at the highest level. Some fans believe that after years of pressure, criticism, and disappointment in World Cup tournaments, Ronaldo may choose to step away on his own terms. Others argue that his competitive mindset would never allow him to miss such a huge tournament. But the key word here is uncertainty, and that uncertainty has fueled one of the biggest football debates of the year. To understand this situation, we need to look back at Ronaldo's World Cup history. From his early appearances in 2006, where he showed glimpses of brilliance, to later tournaments where expectations were sky-high, Ronaldo has carried the weight of an entire nation. Portugal has always depended on him in crucial moments. But despite his efforts, the World Cup has never delivered the fairy tale ending fans dreamed of. Each tournament brought pressure, criticism, and heartbreak. One of the biggest reasons behind this speculation is the pressure that comes with Ronaldo's name. Every move he makes is analyzed. Every match is judged. For a player of his level, expectations are not just high, they are extreme. Many believe that continuing into another World Cup would put even more pressure on him, especially with younger players rising and Portugal evolving as a team. This pressure could be one of the silent reasons behind the rumor that he might step away. Football at the World Cup level is not just about skill, it is about stamina, speed, and physical endurance. As players age, recovery becomes slower, and the intensity of international tournaments becomes harder to manage. Ronaldo, even at his age, maintains unbelievable fitness, but critics often question whether he can sustain that level through a full World Cup campaign. This has led some analysts to suggest that he may prefer focusing on club football or mentoring younger players instead of pushing himself through another global tournament. Another angle being discussed is legacy. Ronaldo has already achieved almost everything in football: Champions League titles, league trophies, individual awards, and record-breaking goals. Some believe that at this stage, he may be thinking about how he wants to be remembered. Walking away from the World Cup stage voluntarily could be seen as a strategic legacy decision rather than a forced retirement. It would allow him to control the narrative of his career ending on his own terms. The reaction from fans has been explosive. Some supporters refuse to believe the rumors and insist Ronaldo will never miss a World Cup if he is fit. Others feel emotional and say that football without Ronaldo on the World Cup stage would not feel complete. Social media platforms have been flooded with debates, edits, and emotional posts, showing just how influential Ronaldo still is in global football culture. If this rumor ever turned into reality, it would mark a major turning point for Portugal. The national team is already transitioning with new young stars stepping up. Players are slowly taking leadership roles. However, Ronaldo's experience, leadership, and presence are still unmatched. His absence would force Portugal to rebuild their attacking identity completely. Another hidden factor could be tactical evolution. Modern football is constantly changing, and national teams often prioritize systems over individual stars. Some analysts suggest that Portugal might start focusing on a more balanced squad rather than depending on a single superstar. If Ronaldo feels that his role is being reduced or redefined, it could influence his decision regarding World Cup participation. It is also important to understand that much of this narrative is driven by media speculation and online discussions. In football, rumors spread quickly, especially when it involves global icons like Ronaldo. A single comment, interview clip, or social media post can be interpreted in many different ways. At this point, there is no confirmed statement from Ronaldo himself indicating that he has officially refused or decided to skip any future World Cup. One thing that has always defined Ronaldo is his mentality. He is known for his obsession with winning, training, and proving critics wrong. Because of this mindset, many experts argue that it is unlikely for him to willingly step away from the World Cup without a strong reason. His competitive spirit suggests that as long as he is physically capable, he would want to represent his country on the biggest stage possible. The future remains uncertain. If Ronaldo continues playing at a high level, there is always a possibility he could feature in another World Cup cycle. On the other hand, if he decides to prioritize recovery, club performance, or personal goals, he may gradually step away from international tournaments. The decision, whenever it comes, will likely be one of the most talked about moments in football history. So, is Cristiano Ronaldo really refusing to play the FIFA World Cup, or is this just another wave of football speculation fueled by fans and media? At this moment, nothing is confirmed. But what is certain is this: whenever Ronaldo makes a decision about his international future, the entire football world will stop and listen. His legacy is already written in history, but the final chapters are still being shaped, and the world is watching closely. Cristiano Ronaldo's situation continues to create even more debate as the football world waits for clarity about his future, and the speculation around him refusing the FIFA World Cup has only grown stronger with every passing discussion online. Many fans believe that if Ronaldo truly steps away from the World Cup stage, it would not just be a personal decision but a historic moment that would mark the end of an era in international football. The idea of Portugal entering a major tournament without their biggest ever icon feels almost unreal to millions of supporters who have followed his journey for nearly 2 decades. At the same time, insiders and football analysts suggest that decisions like these are never made overnight. For a player like Ronaldo, every international tournament carries emotional weight, national responsibility, and personal pride. Even if there are doubts about physical demands or long-term planning, the competitive fire inside him has always been known to override external pressure. This is why many experts argue that the refusal narrative might be exaggerated and based more on assumptions than actual statements from Ronaldo or the Portuguese camp. Another important factor being discussed is how modern football has evolved around younger generations. Portugal now has rising talents who are starting to take more control on the field, and this transition naturally creates questions about Ronaldo's role. Some analysts believe that instead of being the central figure, he could be used more strategically, coming in as an experienced leader rather than carrying the full attacking burden. This shift in role could influence how he views participation in future World Cups, especially if he feels the system no longer depends on him as before. However, what cannot be ignored is Ronaldo's global influence and unmatched drive. Even at this stage of his career, he continues to perform at a professional level that many younger players struggle to maintain. His training discipline, mental strength, and hunger for success have always separated him from others. Because of this, the idea that he would simply refuse a World Cup without a major reason still feels questionable to a large portion of the football community. The media attention around this topic has also played a major role in increasing confusion. In today's digital age, a single comment, gesture, or interview is often taken out of context and turned into a global headline within minutes. Ronaldo, being one of the most followed athletes in the world, is especially vulnerable to this kind of speculation. This has led to a situation where rumor and reality often get mixed together, making it difficult for fans to understand what is actually true. Despite all the uncertainty, one thing remains consistent: Ronaldo's legacy is already secure. Whether he plays another World Cup or not, his achievements at club and international level have already placed him among the greatest in football history. For many fans, the real question is not about whether he refuses the World Cup, but how he will choose to shape the final phase of his legendary career. As discussions continue, the football world remains divided between belief and doubt. Some are preparing for the emotional reality of seeing him step away from the biggest tournament in football, while others strongly believe he still has one more major international chapter left in him. Until Ronaldo himself makes a clear and final statement, the debate will continue to grow, keeping fans across the world in suspense. And as always with Cristiano Ronaldo, every decision he makes becomes more than just football. It becomes history in motion, watched and remembered by millions around the globe.